I washed mine and dried it on high heat, hoping, but nope.
That's amazing.
For this and more laundry tips, watch the Backpack Show.
You old backpack show. What are we? Why are we even here? What happened?
Because Friday we're not doing a show, so we thought today it would be nice to do one and to pop in after dark and say hello to our friends who are interested in success.
Why is my backpack show after dark video not in the backpack show after dark area? Oh, it is. There it is. Here we go. I almost thought it was gone.
All right, Fussy.
You remember the first time I made that? I made you listen to it like 70 times.
Yes, I do.
Do you know that comedy is better when it's in threes?
Welcome to the Backpack Show with your hosts, Chris Brogan and Kerry Gorgone. Boom shakalaka!
I love seeing Santa and Mrs. Claus in the opener.
No, gosh,
Like,
remember
we had
them?
Santa on. How
We've
many
talked to
like
Santa.
business podcasts have Santa on?
It's so good. It's so fun. I mean, we've talked to Santa. We've talked to people who raise goats to cut people's lawns.
Oh, wait. Which one is join us? Join or join us? What'd you do?
Net, join us. I hope. I don't know. Click it.
Click it.
cbrogan.net.
There, check.
Join us. Yep, nope, that's into it. I don't know what happened to you accidentally.
That might not be the right studio, though. What if it's wrong?
No, it's real. I don't know. I clicked it.
I know,
We'll have to
but it
test
could be an old one.
Well, no one's here. Like, there's 1.5 people watching us live. Raul and his like noodles.
You know that's never right, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Raul, I hope your noodles are good.
Me too. My mom and dad aren't around. They're probably doing something important or swimming or something.
The skies opened up earlier, so I was sitting at the Starbucks for like an hour just waiting for it to not be flooded all over the roads. And I was thinking,
which guys open up?
Eat a brownie. The skies.
Yeah. No, maybe a Boy Scout. Hi, Chloe. Yeah, it's teetering on a thunderstorm here in northern Massachusetts. Calling in a Weather 6 report, guys. There's looks like a thunderstorm out there.
Oh my gosh. It's hot as the inside of somebody's armpit in Nashville, and it has been for several months. No idea when that's going to change, but I'm looking forward to it. Hi, Jane.
Jane. I love Jane.
So I still have Nancy Harhut's book on my desk because we talked with her the last Backpack show, and it's so good. It's like one of those things where if you have an email subject line to write, you really should just like pick it up and browse the table of contents because something in there is going to help you.
I listed it as one of my only 4 books you should buy in 2022.
Yeah, but you don't have 3 more. So
Kerry Delaria. You know what would be great? You should drive us somewhere.
We once spent 5 hours in a car with Kerry Delaria going from Cedar Rapids?
Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
To Minnesota.
Minneapolis. Because we couldn't get a flight. They canceled everything.
Somebody set a fire in some outbuilding outside one of the Chicago airports, right? And somehow the Cedar Rapids airport then couldn't operate. So we were either going to spend the weekend there or drive to Minneapolis. So guess we did.
Yeah.
We're like,
what was the Marla? No, not Marla. Who was?
Mariah.
They call the winds Mariah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we were.
No, we weren't. Okay. So in our defense, 5 hours in the car with not much to do, we started to examine people's about pages. Yours, of course, was perfect because you're a dick and everything you do is perfect. And then we looked at ours. Then we started looking at attendees who were like communicating with us from the event we had just been at. And one of them, her profile picture was her all dressed up, sitting on a bed in a hotel. And you could tell it was a hotel because behind her was a breakfast menu, the kind they put on your pillow or the door or something. And it was right there. It was like as prominent in her profile picture as she was. So we called her Breakfast Menu Mariah.
Breakfast Menu Mariah.
For God's sake, but like in the car.
Yeah, we
Kerry
did not have
like, You didn't know how long that drive would be. I mean, we
Yeah.
knew in theory because you said how many numbers of hours, but we were like,
But F the Midwest, right? Like it is absolutely flat. Like Kerry could have stopped driving herself, just put a brick on the thing and walked off into the back of the car for a while.
yeah, and like taking a nap.
Oh
You know
my
what though?
gosh.
Pretty country, really nice people, except for us. We were just passing through, so I feel like that's okay.
That
Remember
road was
in-person events in the before times?
in-person events.
So gotta figure out if this link is working so people can come hang out with us.
Yeah, let's
Which one
test it
is
out. See Brogan.net/join us.
Okay.
That's what I put
But
in.
okay.
I think. I don't know, something. If you click
are-
that, it goes
you
to a
are
StreamYard.
impos- Yes, but they all go to StreamYards.
That's what.
Do you see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
All right. Let's
I'll
have
check.
topics. Oh, you know, one thing I was going to say about Nancy Harhut when she was on last week, and you should go look for this because it's really good.
Yes.
We don't normally do marketers, but we love Nancy, and it's one of my top 4 books of 2022, and it is full of incredible behavioral science information. So that's why to check out that episode. I'd say it's probably one of the best episodes in like the last 10 or 12.
I mean, any of her episodes, bro. Like, she's been on more than once. The first time she came on, we had her on with Horacio Garcia Rojas and who's his co-star from Diablero?
Fatima Molina.
Right. So we had them on and they were like fascinated by Nancy. And then all of a sudden her power went out and boom, she was gone. And everyone's like, oh no, Nancy.
Dang
and so we had to get her back. We had to get her back by herself.
All right, come join us in the studio. See Brogan.net/join us and come say hi. Random, but your nails are a super pretty color, Kerry.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have nails? Oh, yeah.
I do.
Look at that.
I wanted like a Tiffany blue, but it didn't kind of work out because they didn't have it. So, oh well.
That's very lovely. I mean,
thanks.
Yeah, you'll be invisible in a swimming pool.
I'm really concerned about that.
Yeah.
You know, most of the places that I would go into swimming pool would be in-person events, and I'm not going to those. So I haven't been in a swimming pool in a while.
Right,
I don't have family with a swimming pool like some people.
Griffin. No, I don't either. Oh, well, my mom and dad. Yeah, sorry. They're not here. They can't defend themselves.
Is there daylight through your window? How is this after dark? That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's because what we call after dark is really just later than we usually do it.
Yeah, and or, willing to say bad things to people.
Well, you say bad things to people whenever you feel like it.
All the times.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember you exercising restraint based on the hour.
I don't remember me exercising anymore. It's been a while.
Fair enough. So talk to me about Kerry's voice just made it after dark. My voice is a wreck because I had COVID like in July, and apparently your voice is ruined for the rest of your life. So here I am.
Yeah, you sound like somebody had meted a
careful
casino in Reno. A casino in Reno.
It
rhymed.
So Chloe says, I used to love swimming pools till somebody pointed out that it's a bath with a bunch of random naked people and you don't know where they've been. Whoever that was, thanks so much.
I just lived that at Water Country yesterday with my children. Their favorite ride in the whole wide world is a lazy river, which is essentially you feel like a swirling a toilet bowl. And then they went from that to the wave pool, which is the other toilet bowl, and back to the lazy river. That was the whole day.
I feel like the wading pool would be worse. Do you think?
Well,
because
less
it's like
than 3
less
feet
volume
deep.
of right. So therefore, there should theoretically be more like pee per volume.
Pee per square inch. PP outside.
I wonder how places like that have fared over the course of the pandemic. Because like, you can imagine a lot of people were like, you know what I'd like to do? Crowd into a pool with a bunch of strangers.
I have terrible news. That is exactly what they did.
Well, in the beginning, though, maybe not. They are now because everyone's like sick of not going places. But in the beginning, I know Dollywood was like all good. People just kept going there.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
They're
like, it's outside.
Look what Carrie Delirious said.
Oh no, I'm a little worried. The largest gesture of love you can show your children is to put up with a water park. All right. Well, in that case, I showed them once or twice, maybe, that I love them.
Yeah.
So, Kerry, this is fun. For those of you who engage in social discourse on the various internet sites for such a thing, you might think no one's listening, but they are, because while we were on that 5-hour drive with Kerry, we said something about how on the next road trip we should invite Mariah. We did not at her. We only mentioned her. And she was like, I'd like to come. And we're like, oh, no. She saw it.
What we have done is wrong.
Yes.
Chloe follows up, says naked people in a toilet bowl ride. That's a marketing campaign. I feel like that's like
people,
Six
for
Flags.
Sure.
Well,
like fetish Six Flags.
Yeah, it is after dark.
Like 6 whips, 6 floggers. 6 floggers.
We already lost a person or so. 6 floggers.
Wow.
Nice.
So have you noticed that a lot of people who started shows during the pandemic are now sort of like inconsistent about doing them because they're back to in-person events now?
Right.
Seems like. Well, I don't know. I'm actually making an assumption that that's why, but possibly it's also because their work is picked up again or something. Mm-hmm. How many like derelict shows do you think there are going to be versus shows that continue?
That's a great question. I would say I feel like a lot of people are going to just fall apart with their shows. I don't mean that to be mean, and I don't think it's like, we're better than you. I mean, we went from daily to weekly on purpose. Mm-hmm. But I would say that a lot of these shows, they just didn't exactly have a storyline. You know what I mean?
Jane didn't know we were still doing a show.
Oh my gosh. Every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. But I don't announce it in my newsletter, so that's one reason why not. And I don't talk about it that much, and that's another reason why not. And we just not. We don't promote it that way. We can't do that. Like once we learned we weren't going to become millionaires from it, and once Johnsonville gave us a few $1,000 and then stopped.
That was fun.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, hang on a minute.
Actually, they gave us a few thousand sausages.
They did, yeah.
They gave us money to purchase sausages. They didn't give us money like, hey, we're going to give you some money. They gave us money because we wanted to buy sausage for some nuns and for some other people.
Sausage for
I think nuns. It was the nuns that sealed the deal for us, though.
Yeah. That's my next adult film, by the way.
Sausage for Nuns.
Yeah.
What was your last adult film deal?
It was called StreamYard. I was with a Twisty Duck. You can make a show on StreamYard if you want.
Yeah, did it feature you on the lazy river?
Yeah, well, let me tell you about my last adult film. It's called Castos.com, and you could put peas in that pod, baby. Peas. Look at those two
Nancy
peas.
Harhut didn't like your peas in a pod image.
Super not into it. Now I have to rethink everything.
She liked my duck, though.
She did like a bendy duck. Backpack show. She liked this one, which is probably my least favorite ad. I just kind of like us up on that screen.
She's such a lovely person. I love that she like held back a little bit. She wasn't like, wow, did that suck? No.
She's trying to be polite. And presearch.com because reasons. Okay, cool.
So that one, she really liked the graphic, which was funny because it wasn't your graphic. It was Presearch's graphic.
Oh no, I stole that graphic from like the interwebs. Making sausages
were funny. Dinner. Jane Morehouse says green balls.
Yes, because they are. It's like watching Shrek get dressed
for dinner while listening, like a good Midwesterner.
Ah, yes. Are they brats and are they Johnsonville cheddarwurst? Because get back to the drawing boards if not.
So I feel like at that event where we had the memorable ride back, Kerry spoke about, what was it? It was some site that was like new at the time that brands were just starting to use. Now there's been like 6 more since then.
Twitter?
No, it wasn't like that. It was like, I can't remember if it was like Periscope. I really don't remember. But anyway, there since then have been like 3 or 4 other ones that brands have gone into and immediately screwed up. My kids have totally decided Facebook never happened for them. They never got on it. They will never, and they don't care. Twitter is for old people. That's what they said. It's for old people. They watch TikTok, but a lot of times they watch it on YouTube.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I do.
And they're mostly on Discord. So that's it. Instagram, they don't care about.
Chicken breasts.
So that's interesting. So that's a sample size of 2 teenagers.
Gotcha.
That's what I've got.
Yeah.
So Kerry, it's time for a new presentation. That's what I'm saying. Chicken.
I feel like that's about your distaste for birds. I feel like
to eat
that's
chicken.
yeah. She's just like getting back at birds by eating that.
So I know that a couple people I've talked to that had at one point or another shows are now like, oh, I'm too busy. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
And I'm happy that they're busy, but I'm a little bit sad that it wasn't like, hey, because I'm busy, I'm cutting back on the show. It's just like they just ghosted
just go
on their show.
to
Not like
Wade.
not like people sitting around waiting, but if people invest the time to hang out with you
Yeah,
once or twice or however many times, I feel like it would be nice if you were like, guess what? I have to do less shows.
well, I feel like investing well over a year of episodes with people and they still won't come on cam with us is pretty offensive.
Oh dear. Chip, you need to come on. So this is funny. I need to leave shortly and I feel I'll miss something highly entertaining or deeply traumatizing. Are those two things mutually exclusive?
That's a great
No,
question.
I don't think so. I think those two often go hand in hand. What do they say? Some memories are sticky. And that's probably the combination of
When I was
trauma.
12.
Oof.
Oh,
This is why we do these things after dark. Wait
this is why
one
we can't
second.
do these things.
There's way too many more things here than there used to be, so you have to give me a second to find the
Boom shakalaka! Yellow card, Brogan. And Brogan is going down like a bag of hammers tonight.
We have so many video clips, it's surprisingly difficult to
We
find that
have
one.
way tons of audio clips, but we haven't turned them into video because why would we?
Because you're blessed.
You're
Chip is
good,
complaining. He's
Chippo.
been on multiple times. So here we are on StreamYard. This is what made me think about it. And there are still people who are just discovering StreamYard and or shows, right? Because I host now, in addition to this show, I think 2 more that are actively like in production right now. The Punch Out podcast about hobbies, which is seasonal. And I got another couple of shows about to launch, and I use StreamYard for all of them. But a lot of the people I've had on as guests they haven't used it. So they don't know how. And so thank you. And so thanks so much. Oh, so the reason the demo show stuff is over there is because we would be doing a demo and we would need like the rest of the screen.
I get it. Now that's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So and otherwise you wouldn't see like
anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You were talking.
Well, I'm just saying that everybody I have on as a guest is like, oh wow, this is really cool. Like it's the first time they're seeing it. They say they'd like to do a show themselves, but they don't have the time or the energy, but they are thinking about it.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, it's stupid easy. Literally, This is it. Like you clicking in here, you could do everything you need to do a show.
Yeah.
And yet, I mean, I'm happy. I'm like, good. I mean, keep coming on mine. That's fine.
I get it.
That's great. But more of an opportunity.
Jogged my memory because I went out for a coffee today. I had been just too much at my desk and I just needed to take the walk down.
Too much coffee isn't good for you.
I'm not even I have coffee on my desk and I went out and got coffee. Perkins School for the Blind, by the way.
I feel like I need something to drink from Starbucks every time I leave the house.
Well, I have a little market coffee place where I could go watch the cars go around the rotary, and it's kind of nice. So anyway, that's not the point. The point was that I was out there and I ran into my friend Ken, who I haven't seen in a while, who owns Ecamm Live with his brother Glenn. Ken, I basically left Ecamm Live for StreamYard, and they had paid me money in the past and everything like that. I had done consulting for them, and they're in my local town, and I abandoned them. Kind of ghosted them, but not exactly. And I abandoned them for StreamYard. And I ran into Ken today, and I was like, "Oh, wonder if he's going to say mean things to me." And he did it because
did he say anything to you?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, we talked, and we're going to meet for lunch. But oh my gosh, I was really twitchy. And then I said, "So what's a cool new feature you're working on over there?" And he goes, "Multi-streaming." And I said, "Oh," I said, and I thought it was, you mean a year and a half after StreamYard came along? Good on you.
So
I appreciate you, Ken, but
I'm not going to trash talk anybody. But when I was looking for options to do one of my other shows and came across this one, somebody suggested, I think it was Jennifer Weather. I think she is on Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah.
And she does like a weather show on Weather Channel now about like scary weather. And
it's really
literally that's what it is. It's like this weather is scary. Check out how scary it is. But she's so cute. Like it's so knowledgeable about it that it's actually fascinating. So anyway, I love her. But so she was like, try StreamYard. And I tried it after I used a couple other ones like and what's the other one? Restream. And anyhow, it was super janky. And for guests, the experience was like really intolerable because they had to like Skype video call at the same time, and you had to pull it in, and it was always like a lag. And for them, it didn't work, and it didn't look good. And so as soon as I tried StreamYard, I was like, well, this is it. I mean, it has to be it. And then I had to convince you because you sure didn't want to do it.
I did not.
So I mean, it sucked all over the place. It's really easy to bring people in the studio with us. If anybody wants to come, see brogan.net/join us. We'd get you in here with us. Chloe says, I have a crippling addiction to Starbucks mocha lattes. Oh boy. So I've switched. Now I'm on the refresher drinks.
Lattes.
Oh, matcha. Friend. Sorry, I was mocha lattes at one time, so I misread it. But so now I do refresher drinks because I can convince myself that somehow it's like better for hydration. Anyway, all of which to say, it's very easy now to do a show. StreamYard has made it stupid easy, and yet somehow some people are stopping because they're like busy and they don't need it or whatever. Other people are anxious to do one and think that it's difficult still. Mm-hmm. It is not. You could totally do it. No. I mean, why would you is a separate question, whether you have anything to say. Ordinarily, we feature people who are going to teach us something about business success, and we distill their experience into lessons you can use to succeed in your own ventures. We don't have anybody tonight, but normally we do. Authors, comedians, dominatrixes, different types of dominatrixes. Stuntman Eric Linden, Sister Anne Flanagan of the Daughters of St. Paul, recipient of some pretty awesome Johnsonville sausage, some brats, all types of people. So we learn from their endeavors and what they've overcome and break it down into what you need in your backpack for success. And that's what we do. Like 90% of the time. 10% of the time it's shenanigans like this. Once in a while, we play loaded questions, which I actually love. Or in some cases, one gotta go. When we name 4 things and say one gotta go, like ketchup, relish, mustard, Worcestershire sauce. One's gotta go. Everybody.
Oh, for God's sake, stop talking. Let the woman speak.
Let what woman? I am the woman. You told me to stop talking. Who woman do you want to speak?
Hang on a minute. Ready?
Oh, for God's sake, stop talking.
Oh, thanks. I mean, do you want? I know you want like 7 of 9 to speak, but she's not here, so you're stuck with me.
Jerry Ryan, 44 of D.
You have to stop making that joke.
That's what old big boobs in HR said when I had to go to sexual harassment.
My gosh,
Becky. Look at her.
Yellow card Brogan. What else is new?
Oh my gosh. So having done the show now for what we've done it more than 2 years, have you found it fun, interesting, valuable?
Me or them?
You.
Oh.
As the person doing the work. Because that's what I think when people peace out and like walk away from it. I think, well, they must not be getting anything out of it. And getting anything out of it doesn't necessarily mean sales or conversions or whatever. It's like joy and your network and featuring people. I love featuring people and learning from people. And so for me, there is nothing better than this. Like I love it. Obviously, I love doing shows because I do a freaking ton of them.
That's weird. I accidentally put something in the wrong
2
place.
years, says Chloe. That's crazy and incredible.
So let's just see. I'm going to whip down the row here, like 70 or so episodes. I mean, there's so many episodes. We talked to those 3 artists all at the same time that did a COVID project. Mike Sorgatz, Janice McDonald, Elizabeth Meggs. That was fun.
Do you remember when we had the fireman on when he retired who lifted weights that were on fire? Ed Kransky, I want to say.
Sounds right. I'm into it.
And we had him on the same day as like a dancer and singer and dancer. And there was a third that day. Oh, that was a good one. That was such a good one. It was so random. It was like a burlesque performer and a fireman and some other like tech guy. I can't remember. Walking to a bar. It was so funny. It sounded like a joke.
Yeah. Danny Gray of War Paint for Men. That was a good one.
Do you think he liked it? He sent you a kit and you didn't even wear his makeup.
I put something in some part of my body. Oh boy. David Bradford, PhD, and Carol Robin, PhD, the relationship thing. That was a great episode. There were those two Stanford people that had one of the most successful classes ever at Stanford University. Dr. Valerie Rain talking patriarchy stress disorder.
Dr. Sunny talking about sexology.
Sex and sex toys and all that. Let's see.
First
Ashley
day we
Cephas.
broadcast live on LinkedIn, we had the sex doctor on.
That's right. That's right.
And somebody blogged about it.
We had the Jamaican hurricane Simone Edwards on. Remember her?
She's phenomenal.
She was so
I think
swell.
I think she was diagnosed with cancer not too long thereafter. We should reach out and see if
we
can help her
don't
somehow.
have anything to do with that. Oh, we had Jesse Eisenberg's dad Barry on.
Barry Eisenberg, novelist.
That's right.
You know, I love me a novelist on the show.
Yeah.
I go through phases. We had a couple memoir authors on who had, I mean, that's the thing. The authors we have on, even if they're not memoir authors, like they had interesting lives and careers before or apart from the novels they wrote. So it was never like, hey, I wrote a book, because that's just like all our marketing friends. Like they all wrote a book. Like what else is there? Well, turns out these are really interesting people with their varied experience and kind of a weird wobbly career path. So that's why I picked them.
Yeah. Mother of Sharks, Melissa Cristina Marquez. I just saw her on Shark Week. She was doing the Shark Weeks, and you know, we just have a lot of shows. You know who I just messaged by the by is I messaged Jacob Kayea because he told me, please let me know next time you're gonna do one of these shows. And I messaged him and he didn't show up, you little bitch.
Hey, he's a child in school.
You little child,
like a young
bitch.
Teenager?
It's summertime.
No, idiot. My kids are in school.
Yeah, well, you're in. We can't even talk about that. Your kids are in school because you live in.
And this question comes all the way from downtown Crazy Town. Come on.
That's where your kids are.
It's true. In the South, they start school August 1st, which feels like cruel and unusual punishment because it's still incredibly hot. And I never had to start school before Labor Day. Like we always started the day after Labor Day. So what the actual hell? Chloe says, you both helped me check off one of my biggest bucket list goals, bringing my old teacher on. So grateful. That's right. And she was amazing.
She was great. That was one of my favorite guests.
And we had one of the teachers in the town where I live on because they raised funds for an art exhibit. Remember when the tornado tore? Yeah, the tornado tore through the town we're in and destroyed a bunch of homes. And somehow this grand piano was still standing. It was not functional, but it was standing. And so they actually recorded stories of people who were survivors from the area of that tornado and like programmed them into the piano and put the piano on display.
Well, thank goodness Cody Wooten's here.
Cody says, I grew up in the South and we barely had school. They'd just say, come back around August.
Around August. And in all the other civilized parts of the world, we start in September. So that's how that works.
Yeah, but maybe it's because if you skip that much school, Cody, they got to start in August because they don't know when you're going to turn up and for how long.
Yes, there is that. Backpack intro July 22.
That's the new one.
Oh, wait.
It was just July 2022.
Oh, it's twice in the pile. I was like, why is this also down here?
Because one has Tim and one doesn't.
Oh.
And when we got to class, they put us in a barn and told us to start hanging tobacco, says Cody.
Oh, dear.
What would the equivalent be in Boston?
Well, all I don't know is, like, what did the tobacco do to get hanged?
Oh. But I'm bumped.
The answer is not Boston, but Maine. They have in northern Aroostook County, Maine. They do a week off in the middle of the fall for potatoes. They have a potato harvest, and you have to go and do that work.
Yeah, is there like a dance with a potato princess?
No, you miss but you miss like 10 days of school for it because you're supposed to harvest. But no one does it anymore because it's all migrant workers.
We don't have the dad joker
Americans
in
don't
anymore.
do it. Oh,
is that actually true? I know. I was looking for the dad joker and it isn't there. I'm very disappointed.
We'll have to go make a new one.
Chloe's laughing.
I didn't know the dad joker would be here. So
when I was in school, we went to school in a building that used to be a jail, and you could totally freaking tell because it had the stools that were like bolted to the table. So you know what I mean? Like they didn't have legs on the floor, so you couldn't like shank someone with them. Just all bolted. And there were bars on the very high up windows. And in the music room, in the basement, there was still some inappropriate graffiti on the bricks. And I guess it's hard to get paint off of bricks, which I get. But I was also like, you can paint
over it.
That if you.
Hey, look at that. If you went to Scotland, you would also have a potato harvest, it turns out.
No way. Love it. 2 weeks off in October. All right. So interestingly, in the South where we are now, outside Nashville, they did have 2 weeks off from school. They started August 1st, 2 weeks off in October. Then they surveyed all the parents. Hey, did you want to keep that 2 weeks off, or wouldn't you rather have a week at Thanksgiving? And we were like, no, we're good. And they changed it anyway.
Wow.
Representative government, everyone.
Yes.
Cody wants to know what the inappropriate graffiti said. Wasn't exactly what it said. It was what it depicted.
Right. Pikachu with like an extra strong arm, that kind of thing.
Your grandmother would not have approved.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, broad. I wonder if people wonder what we really do in that moment. Like, are we really still carrying on the conversation? I bet they think we do.
We can't, because we can't hear over it. But as soon as it's over, we do.
Right. It's super loud. Then we go backstage and we talk about you.
My God, remember when we were backstage with that? Oh, who was that guy? He had like
he was the best guy.
Technology. Right. But on the show, he's like business,
boring
numbers.
as shit.
And then
nice guy.
Man, whatever. But then backstage, he was like a chubby film prodigy when he was like 12.
Amazing stories. He was talking about how he had a
Christian
Mercedes.
revivals.
Yeah. Oh,
he had to pay someone. He had to pay someone to drive him.
Yeah.
Because he was too young to drive.
Let's go backstage.